kind of just got hooked on it straight away. It just kind of blew my mind having like 3D rooms and avatars. I hadn't seen anything like it before. Like this was back in 2006, so.
Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Miyaka here from Miyaka's Creations, Miyaka's IT, and I have with me Polly.
Hi.
Sorry, it's right above my head. Say hello to everybody. Polly.
Hey
No,
everyone.
this isn't like kindergarten or something like that. So, all right. So Polly has been in IMVU, a member of the IMVU community since 2006, and like she's got pretty much everything in her catalog that you can possibly think of, including what you got: poses and furniture and rooms and clothing and hair and pets and well, that's everything. Everything. You got everything in your catalog. Um, and including potatoes and
Yes.
all those fun things. And she also has an Etsy store, but she did tell me that she does not ship outside of Australia. So if you happen to live in Australia, you could get something from her Etsy store. Everyone else, we're SOL. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
She apologizes. Can everyone hear everybody? I just want to make sure because we've had this issue before. I don't want to overpower Polly with my loud booming voice.
No, you're good. You sound pretty good for me.
Well, you, yes, because we're in each other's ear. Well, yeah, but like Gaff, Nurse, just give me a thumbs up. Ah, super. They can hear both fine. Awesome. Polly, sit next to me. We're at the interview chair. This is your chair. This is your couch, by the way.
I can't see your avatar. You're showing us
Oh no.
load now.
Oh really? Uh-oh. Well, that's unfortunate. Let me Oh, she's gone. Should I re-invite you?
Yeah.
That's a cutout Polly.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
I still just see yours loading, but a bit weird.
Just still slow. Maybe just because there's so much going on. I don't know. I don't know. So, Polly, would you be comfortable sharing with everyone your real name or
Yeah. My name is Bridget.
Bridget? Not your last name, no, because people will stalk you. And how old are you?
39.
39. She's still young. Um, so where are you from and where did you grow up?
I live in Brisbane now, but I'm from Melbourne. So I, yeah, was born and grew up in Melbourne, which is down in the south of Australia. I moved to Brisbane about 9 years ago, I think, to live with my partner who lived up here.
You like it there?
I do, yeah. Um, gets very hot, which I don't like so much, but yeah, it's a nice city. We live in a nice area, like with lots of parks and stuff.
Very nice. Um, it usually gets pretty hot there in Australia. So
Yeah.
you're from the future. We all know this. Um, it's coming to summer right now. I mean, you're in fall. And how
Where,
cool does it usually get in the winter time around by
um,
you?
where I live, winter is sort of around, well, we use Celsius here, so I don't know how much sense this will make to most of you. Sort of a winter's day can be sort of around 20 degrees, which is
20? Really? That warm?
yeah, sort of 15 to 20. Yeah,
For
Brisbane sort of halfway up the east coast, so it's, the further north you go, the hotter it gets.
how hot does it get during the summer?
Um, Sort of like 35 to 38, which is not very pleasant. It gets really humid as well, which is gross. So you're just like constantly sweating. It's quite revolting.
That does sound a bit warm on the warm side. I live in the northern half of the U.S., so we don't get that warm here. It's like Nurse's style of weather. She lives in the southern half of the country, so she complains about it being hot all the time, and I'm like, not my
Hey,
thing.
I'm a
Oh no,
visitor.
she's got a rat.
This is Harriet.
Aww. How many rats do you have? Getting ahead of my
Great.
questions now.
Um,
You have
3 girls. We got them just a little over a month ago, so they're still kind of settling in, but they're doing pretty well. They like their new home. They all came from a rescue, so they kind of had rough starts to life. I think
oh,
they like a hoarding situation. 2 of them were pregnant very, very young, and yeah, they didn't have a great start, but they've got a nice home now.
how long do rats typically live?
About 2.5 to 3 years. Well, it's
It's
yeah,
not a
pretty
lot of time.
not a lot of time. No.
I hear they're very intelligent though.
They are, yeah. They can also be very stupid.
Um, are rats omnivores or
Um, I mean, I guess in the wild they are omnivores, but we kind of like owned rats are generally fed like pellets, which are vegetarian. They're sort of made out of like, I guess, grains and vegetables and fruit and have nutrients and stuff added. We also give them fresh veggies every day.
oh. Yep, I have two ferrets and people call them rats frequently and I'm like, no. You can't call them rats. They're not rats. They eat rats. But I don't know who would win in a fight between a rat and a ferret. They
Mm.
they definitely keep the mice out of my house. I have found them with uh, some snackies that they have come across in my living room, which I'm like, thank you, thank you. Just the one though, the one I was telling you about that doesn't like to use litter box. She's not a very good mouser for being a ferret. So I mean, when the older one passes, I'll be so sad because the younger one, she's fun, but she doesn't take care of the mice. So, um, is there anything interesting or unique about your family life or early childhood that you want to share?
I had a fairly ordinary childhood. Yeah, nothing too crazy really happened. I guess I've sort of always been into art and making things ever since I was a kid. Um, making stuff out of cardboard boxes all the time, doing sort of various art and craft projects. We used to do like a lot of workshops in school holidays, like sort of like jewelry making and ceramics and all sorts of things like that. So I guess that's something I've always been into, making stuff, being creative.
I think everyone in here can relate.
Yes.
So how would your friends and family describe you?
I guess as creative, um, and fairly quiet person, a bit introverted. It's been taking me a little while to sort of come out of my shell. Yeah.
I appreciate you showing your face on the stream. That's a bold move for an introvert. I get you there. I guess people don't believe me when I tell people that I'm an introvert because I'm like an extroverted introvert, if that makes sense. It takes me a while to warm up to people. When I first started these streams a couple years ago, I was so nervous.
Yeah.
But like the more I've done it, the more I've gotten used to it. I don't know, like it. I guess I switch over to like persona mode when I'm doing these, so it's not this. I'm not the same person as I would be if you met me in real life. I guess I don't know. So, and I think a lot of actors are like that, and I feel I don't know a lot of people. Oh, I'm gonna hide this real quick. It's bothering me. Sorry, and I'm also ADHD apparently. Hey, it's gone. Okay, let's see. What is it? I lost my stuff. So what do you like to do in your spare time besides IMVU?
Kind of play with my rats, hang out with them, watch a lot of movies. At the start of COVID, I started a movie group with a bunch of friends where we stream movies together. And so we'll like stream them at the same time and use Discord to chat while we're watching them. So that's like a regular thing that I enjoy doing. Playing like tabletop games, computer games sometimes.
That sounds fun with the movie streaming thing.
Yeah, it kind of surprised that it kept going for so long. Yeah, it just started in lockdown as a kind of social thing to do so people could stay in touch, and yeah, just kept going.
I assume that you primarily work from home.
I do, yeah.
What do you do to is this one of the ways that you use this? Is that one of the ways that you combat like isolation, loneliness that most work from homers tend to get, or is there something else that you do, or you don't get that because you get plenty of interaction?
Yeah, like I'm pretty used to working from home. I've been doing it for so long. I guess, yeah, I have sort of other ways of socializing outside of work. Yeah, doing stuff with friends and the movie group, and spending time with my partner. Yeah, so it's not, I don't really feel isolated working from home.
How long have you been with your partner, if you don't mind me asking?
11 years.
Ooh, are you not married?
We're not married, no. Living in.
Is there any plans to be married?
No, like we've talked about it, but we're not that fussed, and it's a lot of money to get married, which we don't have a lot of. And yeah, just I don't know, like sometimes I think it seems like a nice idea, but also I don't really care that much. It's not going to make anything change about our relationship.
Yeah, I've seen it go both ways. I have a friend, actually my best friend. She's been with her guy for 20 something years and they're not married. So, but I think they're eventually going to get married. I don't know. It's an interesting situation. And then I have another friend of mine who has been with her guy for a couple of years and they just eloped recently.
Oh,
Like
wow.
didn't tell anybody. They just got married. She's like, "I'm married." I'm like, "What?" Wow, congratulations.
Yeah,
And then they just
I think if I did, I probably would just do it like that. And I don't know, maybe just have a party instead of a wedding.
yeah, you don't need a wedding. Been there, done that. It's overrated. So what is your dream job?
I think my dream job would be working for IMVU, but like 14 years ago when it was a lot smaller and there was less competition.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and
Yes.
like I used to work heaps, like I was really motivated and had lots of ideas and would spend, every day making stuff on IMVU, and that's kind of gradually faded away a bit. Just yeah, don't feel super motivated these days, and I miss that because I really enjoyed it a lot, and I sort of have kind of ups and downs where I'll sort of make more things, and then I'll have times where I don't make anything for a while. Um, but yeah, that I think that would be my ideal, doing what I'm doing now, but being really motivated.
I
Earning,
think the
earning,
financial
sorry.
I think the financial uh slump has
Mm.
demotivated a lot of creators when it comes to that. And I don't know if or when that's ever going to come back. I guess we'll see. Um,
This year has just been like really bad for sales. Kind of worrying. Hopefully things will bounce back, but yeah, just have to wait it out and see what happens.
right. Let's see here. What's your sign and do you actually fit its description?
I'm an Aquarius. I actually had to look this up because I don't know anything about star signs. Um,
Some people do, some people don't.
there are a few things that I did identify with, but a lot that I didn't. I think creative was one thing. Pretty sure quiet was one thing. Um, but there was a lot of stuff like being really into technology and very analytical and opinionated and um, optimistic. Yeah, not really any of those things.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a crapshoot whether you fit it or not, but it's
Yeah,
interesting. Some people believe in that stuff really hardcore, and some people are like, meh, you know.
I think a lot of the descriptions are kind of written that they could suit almost anyone. So
Mm.
no matter what sign you look at, you're going to find something that you identify with.
Oh yeah, you pick what fits you, and then you say, oh yeah, it's me. Have you
Yeah.
ever have you ever seen those YouTube channels where the people do the tarot reading or they do
Uh,
the astrology reading? Um, it's ridiculous how many subscribers those channels have because they're just doing general readings, you know?
mm,
And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you just got it. You hit it on the nail today, Melinda the Grand or whatever the name is." And I'm like, "What? How do you have 500,000 subscribers when you're just reading tarot cards? I could do that." No, I'm not doing that. I'm always
mm.
looking for a way to make money. Um, so I think we already covered this. Introvert or extrovert? Definitely an introvert. Um, if you could visit anywhere in this world, where would it be?
Um, like I have been to Japan previously and would really like to go back again, just because I had such a good time there. A really interesting place. But would also like to go to the UK. Yeah, I've never done a huge amount of traveling, so
So
yeah,
where's the farthest you have traveled? Has it been Japan?
Japan. Yeah, I went there on exchange during uni, um, my third year.
That's really
It
cool.
was
I would have
like
loved to go to Japan.
yeah, it's a really cool place. Yeah, I have a lot of good memories from there.
Um, how tall are you compared to the other residents of Japan?
I guess slightly taller. Average, but
Yeah, I haven't left my country, so I can't even. But it's a big country. I mean, you live in a big country too, but
yeah, there's a lot to do here.
so what so how long have you owned rats? Like what got you into the whole rat owning?
When I met my partner, he had 2 rats, and that was like my first time to meet rats ever, and just kind of fell in love with them and wanted to get some of my own. So I did. I got 2 rats who I moved from Melbourne to Brisbane with me when I moved up here, which was really stressful. I had to put them on a plane, like they went in the cargo hold by themselves.
Oh,
I was like so worried about them, just thinking about how scared they would be and stuff. But they made it okay. Yeah.
how
So
many how many how many have you had over the years? Do you know? Do you remember? I'm sure you remember.
I counted the other day, and I've had I think 14 over about
Oh wow.
12 years. Usually have them in groups of 2 or 3 at a time because they're very social animals. Yeah.
Did they all had their own individual names?
They do at the moment. Harriet's the one you saw earlier. We've also got Myrtle and Fern. I'll show you their cage is right next to my desk. So there's kind of like ramps going from the cage to the desk so they can come out and hang out here if they want to.
do they do they get to run the rest of the house or just
No, they don't. It's an old house with lots of gaps in the walls and stuff, so it would be a bit dangerous to let them roam around on their own. But yeah, they have the couch as well as my desk, and it's a pretty big cage, so they've got a lot of space to hang out in.
so I mean, how do you prevent them from jumping off of the couch or the desk?
They just don't. I think if they realized they could, they would. Like rats can jump quite high. Um, they just haven't figured out that they can do it. They'll sort of look at the floor and be interested in the floor, but not brave enough to leap off.
So I'm like, that's not that high. Oh, my ferrets, they would just leap right off. I couldn't even have the stupid one, Elijah. She sometimes climbs on top of the cage, and my cage is about a 5 foot cage
Mm.
that they stay in. But she sometimes climbs on the top of it, and then she can't figure out how to get down, so she just kamikazes it off the top of the cage. Surprised she hasn't like broke her neck yet, but she's crazy. She needs a parachute, uh, and maybe a hang glider or something. I don't know. So let's move on to the IMVU half of things a little bit. So when you first started IMVU, how did you find it? Like, what did you use it for when you initially found the website?
I found it through a friend. I was There was a game called Puzzle Pirates that I was playing a lot back then, and a friend from there showed me IMVU and kind of just got hooked on it straight away. It just kind of blew my mind having like 3D rooms and avatars. I hadn't seen anything like it before. Like this was back in 2006, so it was like pretty innovative back then, I guess. Yeah, and then a few of my other friends came across to IMVU, and oh, Narcissistic came from Puzzle Pirates. That's awesome. Um, yeah, so like a few friends came across with me and had a lot of fun dressing up and going to different rooms. Um, I think I started creating about 6 months in. I guess I found out somehow that it was a thing you could do and wanted to try it. So I bought my name, bought some credits from Cassiopean. Um, yeah, started off with texturing, enjoyed it a lot, kept doing it, just kind of learning as I went. I already knew like how to use Corel Photo Paint from learning how to use it at school. So yeah, I already had that to make textures. Yeah, and it kind of just grew and grew from there. Eventually, I started to learn how to mesh. Second Harvest, who was a good friend of mine, started me off there, um, showing me how to use 3D Studio Max. I had done a little bit with SketchUp before then, but that's, you know, kind of limited in what you could make with it back then. Yeah, and it sort of gradually changed from a hobby to a job.
Were you working another job when you started doing this?
No, I wasn't. It was a couple of years after I finished uni. Yeah, it wasn't working at the time. Um, yeah, I can
So,
remember like selling my first lot of credits. I think I sold 50,000 credits, which I got $20 for, which was
ooh.
exciting. I bought a Goonies t-shirt from eBay. That was like my first income from IMVU. Yeah, and it, yeah, just kind of grew and grew.
Yeah, we started the same year. You started about a month before I did. Uh, but like as you can tell by like the course of our lives being as different as they are, you have like thousands of products and I don't even have 1,000 yet.
I would like make several products every day when I was kind of at my peak, I guess. Yeah, it was kind of what I'd spend most of my time doing. Yeah, and yeah, just reading the comments in the chat. I think I was very lucky to get in early with meshing. There wasn't a lot of competition then. It was really easy to get derives. Like you could pretty much make anything and you'd get derives from it.
Oh, I remember those days. You pop something in and you just, as soon as it's in, poof, you got your first sales and your first derives. Like, this is awesome, you know?
Like before I started meshing, I guess I was one of those derivers who was always looking for the newest mesh and would just derive from everything I could find, just wanting to have like the newest derives from the new meshes and stuff.
Yeah, what's I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say, when I first started content creating, I made an alt account and I made adult stuff. Ooh. And that's when I learned that adult stuff really sells well because I bought my first car off that income,
Oh wow.
but then I stopped creating on that account because I hate making adult stuff.
Yeah,
It's
I've done a bit, but it feels a bit weird.
it's just it's not fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit my personality, like, so I just stuck with the stuff that I enjoyed. But I mean, I it was a nice income while it lasted, I guess. But I just couldn't stick with it. You need to be motivated in doing what you're doing to keep doing it, you know. But um, but I already answered my next question about comparing IMVU back then to now. Um,
Mm.
do you what do you think is the root cause of the current sales stuff? Do you think it's too many content creators? Do you think it's the actual global economy after COVID? Yeah, after dark. Yes. Uh, or like the combination of the both, because I do know that my sales were rocketed during COVID, but everybody, they're like handing out money right and left, and everybody is working from home and spending it, and then after that it just went so.
Yeah, I had the same thing, like the start of COVID, the sort of first big lockdown period. Yeah, sales just went nuts. It was amazing. It was so good. um but yeah, I guess it's probably a combination. Like my sales had been dropping for a while anyway before that spike. um, yeah, there's just so much competition now, and a lot of professionals have come to IMVU as well. So you're sort of, I'm I'm all kind of self-taught. Um, so there's a lot that I don't know how to do just because I sort of haven't come across it in my career. Whereas I guess if you learnt, like if you studied 3D animation and design, you kind of, I don't know, I guess know a lot more of the sort of functions in 3D software, and I know you've been working in it professionally.
um what my background is actually traditional animation.
Mm.
So I had a very small intro into 3D design and animation when I was taking my animation classes, because it was required for the stuff. Um, so a lot of the stuff that I'm doing in IMVU, like having those classes was a nice little starter. Like it had me like maybe an intro into it, but I a lot of it's self-taught, like the rigging and all that stuff. I watched YouTube videos and stuff for that, because I didn't learn that in college. I drew pictures all day, every day, for hours. I have stacks of papers this thick from my animation classes. It was fun, but it was a very, very time consuming. But how would you say that your content creation has improved over the years? Like what have you come to enjoy the most, I guess, and focus more on as you've gotten a more advanced content creator?
I guess
Sorry, nurse.
someone's noticed you. Just hoping someone would notice that. Yes.
uh, good one.
No,
I
that's
didn't even notice
how
that. That's great.
I start.
Oh, I froze.
What was the question? Oh, how have I changed? Yeah. I, I mean, I guess I have improved quite a lot because I started from the very beginning without a lot of knowledge of how to kind of make textures or meshes. So I've, yeah, been learning as I go and improving as I went along. And I really like making accessories with animation. I think that's probably my favorite type of thing to make, and probably the sort of product that I make the most. Yeah, like I enjoy making silly things, as you all know. um, uh, yeah.
My IMVU froze. Oh, still frozen.
Oh, it says you've left the chat. Oh, no,
It's frozen. I'm gonna load it back up again. Oh, it's too big. It's blocking your face. Um. So yeah, silly things. Where did the potato thing come from? It's just like a running gag of some sort, because you have kinds of vegetables that I know
Yeah,
that you've made with the pickles and the sausages.
I, I just really like potatoes. They're a very versatile vegetable. They taste good. You can make lots of things with them. So yeah, that just kind of became a thing. And sometimes, you know, you start something and then people associate you with it, so then you do it more and more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know how many Wallies I've made lately because I made them for Gaff for Christmas in July.
Mhm.
Or was it Small Business Saturday? He was Wally the bird was a mascot, and then so I made a live action, like an actual animated one, and all of a sudden I made a bunch of them, and then I made a roasted Wally because Stymesh tried to eat Wally, so I had to roast Wally just to keep the theme going. But yes, I don't have roasted Wally with me though. DJ Wally, I made a DJ Wally. Oh, and that's my ferret. This is actually a representation of my ferret Lorelei. I used her as a reference to make this pet. So ferret on my shoulder. So I don't know if you haven't made any rats, have you?
I haven't. No, I guess I'm more into making food things than animal things.
I don't know. I hate making pets because there's so much work involved, but I love making pets because they're so freaking cute.
Yeah, like I've done a couple of animals, um, made them for IMVU. There was a koala which was made for a fundraiser um, for the bushfires that were in Australia a few years ago. I made a cat a couple of years ago. But yeah, animals are really hard, so they're not something I want to do a lot of. But yeah, organic shapes are difficult to get
Yeah,
right.
except for potatoes, they're quite round. Right here it is.
Hair tips.
I didn't know if I wanted the pickles or the sausages, so I picked the pickles. That's great. I love that stuff. I also like weird, goofy stuff, but I haven't been making as much lately. I don't know. The koala. Gaff apparently remembers the koala. Wait, hair tips?
Hair
What are we
tips.
talking about? Like our actual hair? Her hair is pink. My hair is uh normal. I haven't done a green hairstyle in a while.
I don't know. I cut my hair myself and it works out sort of okay.
I
I don't
cut my
know.
hair myself as well. Actually, I dyed it myself last week Sunday. I tried to dye it, but I didn't use the peroxide dye. I used like the cheaper stuff because I didn't want my hair to get super platinum blonde or anything. I just wanted to lighten it up,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't even tell. It looks
Does
the
look
same.
like the top.
It's a little bit lighter on top, but I think the green in my there's still green in my hair. I think like it never completely washed out. Is your hair permanently pink, or do you use that washout?
Um, it's like a semi-permanent dye, so it does wash out over a few weeks. So I have to kind of redo it in a couple of months or something. I've had pink hair for like 5 years now. It's been a
You
while.
haven't. I can't.
I've,
I get bored of things fast. I change my hair color often.
mm, I have been thinking about changing it, but I have to like bleach the color out, and it's like a lot of work.
Yeah, the colored dye does do a pretty good job of like covering it. If your hair is darker, it just looks darker, but it does do a pretty good job of adding the color to your hair. Because I had last summer, I went color crazy. I did pink and purple and green and turquoise. I like the turquoise the best, but the green was the hardest to wash out. But it just my hair is well, it's about this color, and it went over quite nicely. It was just like a darker shade, you know. But it's the washout stuff, except for the green. The green stained my entire body green. It was ridiculous. I had a dermatologist appointment, and she's like, "The bottom of your feet are green." I'm like, "Yeah, yes, they are." But nurse, I have a quick tip for you. I do sometimes grease my hair up in olive oil and wrap it up and go to sleep like that because it kind of like moisturize my hair because my hair gets so dry sometimes. So I mean but you have to like wash it out real good. That's my shiny tip for you. I don't know if Polly's got any shine tips, but that's mine.
I washed my hair this morning, which is probably why it looks shiny.
It could be the lighting, you know. It's just I got the lights up on my head. It's like, and it's like middle of the day for you. I don't. You got a window behind your desk?
Window in front of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I look very kind of washed out.
Get the glow. Oh. Sunset 2 hours ago here, so it's not so bright. Though I do have a desk lamp to shine my face up a little bit because otherwise you can't even see my face. It's just so dark in over here. So we've pretty much went through all the questions, but one. What is one question that you wish I had asked you, and how would you answer that question?
It's a hard one. I don't know. I don't know.
Is there anything that you want to talk about that we didn't talk about? Anything you want to promote?
I don't think so. Like,
Well, how about this? Do you have any piece of advice for anybody who is just starting out with content creation?
yeah, be patient. Because I guess it can, if you come in with the aim of making money, that's not something that's going to happen quickly. You need to do a lot of work over a lot of time and sort of build up your business. I would probably not recommend trying to earn money unless you like are already working in 3D. Just because there is so much competition now, and I think people underestimate how much work it takes to earn money. But I think try to enjoy it, make the sort of products that you like making. Otherwise, it ends up feeling like a chore.
It's all good advice. I agree with that 100%. Hence, I stopped making adult stuff. I gave up money for that. But you're right. If you're going to get into content creation now, just do it for fun. Use it as a creative outlet, and you should take a lot of joy in it for sure. Does anybody who is watching have any questions for Polly right now? Nurse, Gaff, Christy? Those are only 3 people I saw commenting, but I don't know who else is hiding in the shadows. How many? You don't have a lot of like fancy rooms. I saw you had like a lot of more like photo op rooms.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, like I've never been a huge maker of rooms. But yeah, more recently I've made some kind of photo rooms because that's what people seem to like, taking photos. The username.
Yeah, Nurse wants to know what inspired your username.
It's named after a singer, a punk singer from the 70s and 80s. Her name was Polystyrene. The band was called X-Ray Specs. Yeah, a fan of hers, and it's a fun name. So yeah, just picked that and stuck with it.
And it shortens the poly very nicely,
Yes.
which is also a interesting correlation to poly. Wait, what's the word I'm looking for? Shapes on a 3D mesh.
Polygons.
Polygons. I think that's a word. What would you say your best product ever is, Gaff asks?
Hmm. I guess this is multiple products, but several years ago, um, I made an escape room for IMVU. I don't know if
Ooh, I
anyone knows.
remember that.
Yeah. So there
Was
was
that you
like,
in Second Harvest?
yeah. So there was like a secret entrance to get into this library, and then there were clues, and it was really, really hard to make. It took a very long time. Um, and kind of I had to figure out how a lot of um, like sort of background stuff worked out, because I needed to make nodes that would hide and then reappear, and I had to figure out how to make the camera move when the avatar moved into the next room. So there was sort of a lot of technical stuff that took a lot of figuring out, and I felt really proud of that when it was done. It was a big
Yeah, that
project.
I remember that. That did turn out really neat. And then it had the end scene was the room with the moving floor. Was that?
Yeah, that was the one that Second Harvest made. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you had to, I think, click on things in the right order, and then it made a key appear. Yeah,
Was that did IMU commission you guys for that, or you did that?
yeah, they commissioned us. So
Did
I think it was something that the CEO was kind of wanting to show things off to potential investors and stuff.
uh, that makes sense. Um, did you ever try out for the creator residency program?
No, I didn't. Like I'm interested in it, but um, also I don't want to kind of tie myself down to that much work at the moment. But yeah, it's like, how are you finding it?
Well, so far they didn't really have much for me to do in the beginning. So I
Like,
just kept doing the stuff that I was doing. So I've been the weekly streams is stuff I was already doing.
yeah.
So and now they're going to be restreaming those weekly streams. So I'm like, okay, bonus. Um, this meet the creator interviews is something I was already doing. So I think they're taking snippets from this stuff now. Bonus.
Mm.
The most I they just commission or they just got me to do some VIP gifts now, but I was a little stressed out because they gave me a very short timeline for 2 pets that are
Oh.
due next week Monday. They gave me like 3 weeks to do these, or originally gave me a month, and then they didn't give me the reference material until like a week later, and then they extended the deadline by a couple days. I'm like, okay, guys,
I feel like with
but
contracts, they're either like really far in advance or really, really short and don't give you enough time.
I don't think the people who are giving you these jobs understand how much work is involved in some of these things. So when I was talking to Riggs K about the pets, I'm like, that's a really long time, and I'll tell you what, or that's not enough time. I mean, it's a really tight tight deadline. I'll tell you why. Because first I have to make them, and they're organic, and then I have to unwrap them, and then I have to texture them, and then I have to make the bones, and then I have to rig them, and then I have to animate them, and I have to do it twice. That's a lot of freaking work.
Yeah.
And then the next project that I have to do is not due until the end of April. And she's like, well, that one sounds really hard. I'm like, that one's easy because it's just animations. All right. All I have to do is do the animations, and there's a lot of like looping that I can do. So it's not, I mean, it seems like a bigger project to you, but to me, it's way easier. So I guess it doesn't quite click in their head, you know?
Yeah. Almost every contract I have to kind of explain to them like why I can't do a particular thing, like why, like constraints that you have within IMVU where certain types of products just can't be made. Yeah, there's always a lot of kind of explaining before you get into a contract.
Right, yeah. They don't, you would think that they get people in their like the marketing team who kind of has a basic understanding of how content creation works, so they can give a more realistic deadline and more realistic projects, I guess. Yeah, you know, I understand what you're saying, nurse, but like I've pretty much done nothing the last 2 weeks except worked on these freaking pets. Okay. stressful. But after, so next week, and then she had scheduled a learning session for this week, and I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna work. Can we push it back to next week? So, and I'm hanging out with Polly this week. Like I can't do it all. So next week we actually do have a learning session. We're going to talk about particles, and I think they're going to talk about some of the newer stuff coming up. But up until this point, it was fine. Like it wasn't like overwhelming, overbearing, and like I was waiting for them to give me something to do. I'm like, come on, guys, I'm waiting. I want to dive into some of the stuff that you got going on behind the scenes, like the scripts that they planning. Have you visited their rooms that they had during Christmas?
No.
They had a couple of rooms that, because they have scripts in, well, not alpha yet, but they're gonna be going into alpha soon, where you can actually, you know, write scripts and make like actual games.
They've been talking about that for years. Like I've done some work like for products that were going to be using scripts like 5 or 6 years ago or something.
Yeah. Well, I guess they're actually like gonna get done, and they're gonna be going live sometime this summer.
Wow.
Your winter. Next few months.
Yeah, that'd be.
So I told them I'm very interested in playing with that, but let's see.
Yeah. Yes.
Anybody else have any questions? Anybody? I don't think I missed any. Is there any place you want to show off while we're here? I don't know, I put this top here because I think it's super fun, and my bird goes freaking nuts on it.
Shall I show you the escape room?
Ooh, yes, let's go to the escape room.
So this is not the final version. Wims textured it. So yeah, this only has a couple of small textures on it. So yeah, there's this inscription on the fireplace that gives you a little clue to what the first puzzle is.
You can invite me to your room.
Ahead. That's the trick one. This one you actually click.
Can I see it? I can't see nothing.
Did you catch that?
Hmm?
Did you see the fireplace turn around?
Oh, can you invite me to the room?
Oh, sorry. You are showing us in it.
That's weird. Let me leave this room. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. All right.
Are you in the room?
Wondrous. I am in the room. Welcome to the mystery room. A wondrous treasure lies ahead. Seek the answers one by one and don't forget to use your head. Ah, do I have to use one of these heads?
Yes.
Which one? Does it matter?
Oh, you can try both.
Ah!
The clues aren't textured on.
Oh no. I was gonna ask you, do you have... Oh, I opened it. Yay, I can't read what it says.
Yeah, the right one.
Do you have... How many alt accounts do you have? I know you have the Halloween one. Halloween? What's it called?
A polystyrene.
Polystyrene. Yes.
Uh,
I mean, you don't have to... If you don't want to like reveal all of your alts, you don't have to, but I was just curious how many you had.
I have one called Coquette, which I haven't used in a very long time, that was doing kind of 50s pin-up kind of clothing and stuff. I have one called Goo, which is my trendy alt, which, yeah, just kind of wanted to start making a new account from scratch and trying to do kind of what was fashionable and what was popular and see how that worked out. I have Polypair, which I very, very long time ago I made a pear-shaped clothing mesh. So like a kind of hippie, bigger body shape. And so I made that account to make clothing in that shape, but I haven't used that account for a really, really long time. Yeah, the pear shape did well for a little while, but then kind of fizzled out. I guess there were other new body shapes that people wanted to use instead. I think that's all.
How did your Halloween account do? Did it does it do better around Halloween? I assume, but
well, I only activated at Halloween. It's a new account. It's VIP, and I don't want to pay the VIP for the whole year.
Right.
This year it did really badly. just didn't sell much at all. The first couple of years, it was in the Halloween showcase, so it got picked up quite a lot of sales. But yeah, it hasn't been accepted for the showcase in a while. So yeah.
I have never actually tried out for the showcase because I don't make clothes.
Yeah, it's a bit
And
kind
that's
of
like pretty much the only stuff that they ever showcase. So I noticed that they are starting to do more stuff with furniture creators now. Because what Ray Schick by Trinity
Oh yeah.
was a spotlight, creative spotlight, and I'm like, because her stuff is so freaking awesome, you know. So
Yeah.
like I can't even.
Yeah, like
Can't even those rooms.
they're enormous and just have so much in them. Yeah, she's very talented.
Yes. I don't know. Is there anything beyond the staircase? I checked all the books and I didn't get nothing.
So you should, I think you have to go onto the ladder and then pick a higher up book.
Ah. I have to go back in there because all the notes are gone. That's great, actually. So yeah, you did a really good job at this. Like I like how the stuff doesn't start working. Like the nodes don't appear until after you select a node. But you select
Yeah,
one of these ones up here. Top one.
I think it might be the one just to the left of the ladder. Maybe not.
Have you
Yeah.
forgotten how to escape your own room?
Yeah, a node will appear upstairs. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it looks like it. Nurse. And the amount of like you have to like plan it all out. It's got to be. Oh, a book. Okay. What does it say?
Oh, I can't remember, but that's the last clue. Then you have to go back down the stairs. So there's a note at the top of the stairs now.
Oh no, I didn't want to watch it go down.
And then the last one is behind one of the paintings on the wall.
All right. Sweet. That's a lot of money. How'd you fit all that in there?
Yeah, so that's it.
Sweet. Rich. All right, I'm
Yeah,
quitting my job.
it was a huge amount of work, yeah. But kind of good to learn. I learned a few things from it. It's good.
Yeah, it's always good to challenge yourself, if you will, because that's the best way to learn.
Yeah, definitely.
And then if you go back to the door, the front door, everything resets, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Because I noticed that the first time. If I stand next to you, does everything reset? Ah, it does. Dang. The money's gone, people. Oh no. See, your outfit matches, but your hair is just too long.
It is too long. I couldn't find exactly the right hair, but I think it's close enough.
It's pretty dang close. Like even the color variant is pretty dang close. Where's your necklace? I don't see your.
Oh, I do actually have one like that, but I forgot to pull it out.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to show us, or?
No, like I don't really have any. I don't have anything in the works at the moment. Sort of, yeah, been making some clothes recently just to give myself some new outfits.
Yeah, I saw. I did see that you were making some outfits because you said you needed some fresh stuff. Um, a little a little tip because I do experiments from time to time. I mean, for anybody who's watching, um, one of my alt accounts, I kind of like test the different markets, if you will, just because I want to see. But I usually just arrive. I don't make new stuff, just to see like what's selling where. And I have found that pets are pretty hot.
Okay.
Pets are hot because I don't think there's a lot of them. A lot of people don't make them because they're challenging to make. But the only thing is the way that the catalog is set up right now.
Yeah.
You have to put you have to put the pets in the accessories. If you put pets in pets, they don't sell so good. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I've been like making multiples of everything. I've just been putting them in the different categories because half the people don't see this stuff anymore. Back in the day, if I made an animation, I'd put it in the female category only and make it unisex because it would still get found either way. But you can't really do that anymore.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Yeah, so it's just
I
duplicate
saw,
everything.
I saw a staff post recently. Apparently, 70% of catalog sales are made in the new platforms, so desktop, next, and mobile, which
That
is,
makes total sense
yeah.
because a lot of younger people probably don't even own a computer and they do most of their activities on their phone. So, oh, I remember we there was I don't hop in discussions that often, but sometimes I do. And I remember that there was this one girl that was calling you a butt kisser or something.
Yeah. Like, have
like
you met me?
like where are these people coming from? Do you know who you're talking to? Like she's like one of the least butt kissers in here. Like you are just mad because
because
somebody
you
isn't
have to
agreeing with
criticize,
you.
if you don't criticize every single little thing that IMVU does, then you're a butt kisser.
Nurse. the it's just funny because yeah, yes, you're unhappy that IMVU changed something, but IMVU is going to change something because they're following their numbers because they want to make money. If you also want to make money, you have to follow them. So it's just the way it works. Sucks,
And yeah,
but
I don't have to like it, but that's just the way things are.
this isn't a democracy. This is a company. So yeah, and I know a lot of people are shying. Don't really want to use Studio. They don't want to use Next. I mean, I was one of them. I'm like, I don't really want to do it because
Mm.
I'm used to the old program, but I now that I've been using it more, and then they've been updating the programs more, I feel like they're actually listening to people's requests more, and they're adding features that people are asking for, and they're seeming to be more responsive to the bugs than they used to be. Unlike Previewer, is that the right one? That like way back in the day, I think it was Previewer. Like the bugs in that thing are ridiculous, and they never fixed anything. And then same with the create mode. Like bunch of bugs showed up, and we just kind of learned to live with them because they didn't go away. So
Yeah, I don't like the new platforms. I don't like Studio, but I, you know, just got to suck it up, really, because that's where IMV is going. Right. I still mainly use create mode. I'll often start in create mode and then edit stuff in Studio. Yeah, but I'm kind of trying to force myself to use the new stuff more because eventually the classic client will go away.
yeah, the studio's grown. Speaking of whims, nurse, I tried to get her on this program, but she said she'd get back to me, and I didn't hear back from her. So I'm gonna have to like poke her again. By the way, but yeah, like I've since I've been using Studio exclusively, I've become quite accustomed to it now, I guess. And the though I still don't really like the dress up mode or the shopping mode in desktop here. Oops. I totally broke stuff. I made everything go away. How did I do that? Okay. I don't know if you guys saw that on the screen. Everything's went poof, gone. Now I totally forgot what I was saying. I think I was talking about desktop. I not a huge fan, but it does actually work better than
It is a lot better than it used to be.
it works better for me than classic does. It's smoother, the animation's smoother. So, and that's why I use it more frequently now, but it does freeze up more often than classic client does. But so I don't really like the dress up, like the inventory. I don't know. It's just there's still some things they need to fix. And shopping is atrocious. Not a fan of shopping.
The lack of categories is just horrible.
Yes. They should have cracked down on that category thing way back in the day. Like I was not here when they had the category situation, but like from what I understand is they allowed content creators to make their own categories in the beginning.
That's what I do too.
So then you got people just making categories just for their own stuff. And next thing you know, you have 3 Halloweens and like every single hairstyle you can think of has its own name. It's like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like, why are you letting this happen, guys? And then they didn't change anything. They just let it go. So this is their way to try to mitigate that, I guess. But yeah, now there's not enough categories, so I don't know.
That's another reason that I submit products from classic, because you can put them in categories.
I do submit a product and then go in and change the category sometimes in classic if I want it in a specific category. I do that. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about? I think we're just about ready to wrap this up. I'm going to put your product catalog in the chat one more time.
I don't think I have anything else to talk about really, unless anyone has any more questions. The rats are all asleep, unfortunately.
Everybody fell asleep. Well, we've been on for almost an hour and a half. Well, hour and 15. It's a good, nice interview.
Oh, thank you.
And there is a slight delay between. I mean, if you're watching, there is a slight delay. So it takes a minute for people to see what we're seeing, obviously. You can ask 1 or 2 questions if you want to, nurse. That's why we're here. We're here to meet the lovely Polly. After all this time. Gaff was my first interview, by the way.
All right, yeah.
He was a pleasure to have on here. He was, English is obviously not his first language. So, and then we had some huge technical difficulties trying to get the audio to stream on the stream. I didn't even realize nobody could hear him for like the longest time. Like that was a challenging one though too. So he was just listening to the stream and then answering the questions until I figured it out. And it was kind of frustrating because it was such a delay in him answering. So I just sit there and wait a second, and then he'd answer, and then I'd ask the next question. It was bad.
Yeah, I'll have to try and make it for more of these. It's been quite fun.
Yeah, it is. It's really interesting. It's been interesting learning about the different people. So I don't know who's next. Just so you guys know, I am going to try to get Riggs K on here.
Oh,
I think she would be great. She's like the most positive person that I know. Like every email she sends has like 6 exclamation points in it. Nurse doesn't know any questions. She had questions and now they're gone. But I haven't asked her yet, so you guys know before she knows, and I don't even know if she's going to say yes, but I'm going to ask her anyway. But if you guys have any suggestions for people for me to do the next interview with or on my list, I do have a list. I do have a small list of people I'm going to ask, but I only do one of these a month. I can't do more than that. I don't have the bandwidth for that. Just don't have the ability. Well, if we have nothing else, I really appreciate you being here with me. It was a lot of fun. I hope your nerves have.
Me.
I hope your nerves have calmed down since we've started. Yeah, once you get going, it's not so bad, huh?
Yeah.
Not so bad. But all right, and to you guys, just so everyone in the chat knows, I will not be streaming this Thursday. This is this week's stream. I'm not doing this Thursday. And then next week, Thursday, it hasn't been like announced yet, but next week, Thursday, we're going to be doing a learning session with particles and new products or whatever in IMVU. So it's going to be my first live stream as a creator in residency. So that should be interesting. But
hopefully I can make it.
So yeah, I think we're doing it. I think it starts at 6:30. I'm sure Riggs will send out the email blast soon. So, but yeah, it's around the same time, a little earlier, but next week Thursday. But I'll post my usual Instagram and Facebook stuff and whatever. So, but all right. If there's nothing else, I appreciate everyone here. I appreciate you, Polly. I appreciate you, Gaff. I appreciate you, Christy, and I appreciate you, Nurse. And I appreciate Randy for sticking around this time. That's the raccoon, by the way. He was having a disappearing trick for a while, but he hasn't been disappearing, so hanging out in the corner. But say your goodbyes. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye. Yay. I love it. So, cheers.